What is going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is December the 12th. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before we get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So starting off with data points, only thing to really watch for today is PPI, which in my opinion, even worst case scenario, won't really disrupt the broader market all that much. So I think the market yesterday was pricing in a 25 basis point cut due to CPI. So I think it's just going to be more of a technical driven day. And in some cases, that's not all that great. So you are seeing a little bit of a pullback. So NASDAQ down 0.47, S&P down 0.24, Dow is down 0.14. And so essentially, the fear and greed index right now is showing neutral. So people's appetite for risk isn't necessarily there. And even with the good momentum over the last little bit, you've seen more of a hesitation. So big money hasn't really been buying a lot of this hype as of the last several trading days. So once again, showing a certain level of hesitation, but getting right to it, SoFi is down slightly 0.56%. No actual news associated to them today, no SEC filings. So it's kind of just been stuck in limbo, piggybacking off of the broader market. And again, with a 25 basis point cut potentially for the December 18th meeting, consumers' buying power would increase. So the whole finance sector should really continue to flourish as it'd be a very good domino down the line. But SoFi's technicals are kind of on the edge, as I mentioned in my dedicated video yesterday. 12.47% of the free float is being shorted, so that's what we're going into today as. 132.86 million shares overall are being shorted. And right now with it at $15.84 pre-market, it is right on this pivot point of 1583. So that's going to be a key one to really watch for today. Flip side, 1515, it's going to be a very strong support. It's actually bounced off of that over the last 2 trading days. So kind of just watch for that to be kind of that line in the sand. But essentially, like in the short term, just watch for that pivot point. And then 1650, 1691 are going to be the next strong resistance / target points. Moving on, ticker RGTI. So this one, very volatile, as I've been stating, but big money is just keeping to trade it, like massive volume. So it went up 13.71% yesterday, new high of $7.96. But today you're having a certain level of profit taking. I don't believe there's been anything negative associated to the company itself. So no SEC filings, nothing like that. Actually, they just had a Form 4. So that might be spooking some individuals right here. So it was a sell done by a director, and it doesn't look like it was for tax purposes. It was a planned sell and 125,000 shares. And so, yeah, it is what it is. Nothing really crazy if you ask me. I think that's kind of normal for any director to want to sell some shares, and it looks like they're still left with 938. So it's not like they dumped everything. So maybe that's just one thing that's spooking the broader market. Right now, pre-market shorts are returning 2.65 million shares. So that goes to show that with it down so much, big money is legitimately selling today. So again, making up the big volume, but 13.76% of the free float is being shorted. Works out to be 34.52 million shares overall are being shorted. It appears it's not on the threshold list anymore. So clearly market makers rectified that, or shorts it, I guess, behind the scenes. Right now with it at $6.74 though, trading between this R1 and the pivot. So $5.89 is going to be the next strong support. $6.89 will be that key pivot for at least today in the short term. So definitely watch for it to close above that. And then 750 and 850 are going to be the next strong resistance / target points. So yeah, it is what it is. Pretty interesting stock, and it's been doing fairly well despite people's appetite for risk not necessarily there. So do your own due diligence at the end of the day. Lucid is doing pretty good. So over the last 5 days, it is up 14.89%. So for those of you that have been following Lucid, that is very abnormal. So Peter did do a interview. So the CEO did a interview on Bloomberg yesterday, as well as the CFO, or I believe it's an interim CFO, did do a fireside chat. So yeah, alluding to potential partnerships. So I think just that is driving up speculation and buying behind the scenes. Even a couple articles just came out roughly like 20 minutes ago about Lucid Group eyes partnerships amid shifting EV landscape. And they kind of do allude that China, maybe in the foreseeable future, they might be really going towards there. Not in the short term, but maybe by 2030, that's where they'll kind of enter into China. So pretty good stuff in that regard. 22.42% of the free float is being shorted, works out to be 267.1 million shares. So very heavily shorted for an EV. So I believe it's actually the most heavily shorted EV in the market as of right now, with it at $2.43. Not really much happening pre-market, but it is trading between this R2 and this R1. So in the short term, 247 will be that key one that needs to close above, and then 265. Flip side, 236, and then $2.17 is going to be the following support levels. So big money is clearly getting in, not enough to really move it. Most likely shorts are going to be fairly active today, as they typically are with this stock. So do your own due diligence. Ticker DBVT. So it is up 15.2%. So it's a biotech, as I've explained in the past. They're not really my forte. So this is the reason why it is up. So this came out after hours yesterday. So it looks pretty good if you ask me. But again, you guys, it's not my forte for this, but not heavily shorted, so that's not going to be a influence at all today. So 0.91% of the free float is being shorted, so pretty good stuff in that regard. With it at $3.72, it is trading between this pivot and this S1, so 352 is going to be a strong support. $3.89 is going to be that next strong target / resistance. So it did bounce off of that, so most likely, in my opinion, again, not really being an expert with that kind of data and stuff like that, I would feel that it is going to retrace back to this S1, so 352, but my crystal ball is sometimes wrong, and so most likely, with that being said, it's probably going to hit $10 today. I don't know, anything's possible, right? And last but not least, Bitcoin's making a fairly good recovery, so as a byproduct, miners are going up. So this is up 1.55%, abnormal amount of volume. Shorts aren't doing anything this morning, but 24.15% of the free float is being shorted. Works at be 76.09 million shares, and just generally shorts have started to get back in. So it did have a low of 20.7%, so they've been starting to really double down and keep the price suppressed for the most part. So most likely anticipate them to be fairly active today. And this stock actually did do a buy signal under my Patreon. So I've been giving buy signals on stocks, options, and crypto. So when this was 20, I was saying that this was a screaming buying opportunity and most likely going to be hitting roughly around that $25 to $26 range. And lo and behold, that's kind of where it did, for the most part, peak. I still do see a lot more upside, probably not this cycle, but maybe Q1 you'll see a secondary run to possibly the $30 range, or like a little bit higher than that. So that's just how I see things. So if you are looking for buy signals, pop over to my Patreon, link in the description below and also the comments. But in the short term, with it at 23.67, it is trading between these 2 points, so this pivot and this S1. 18.62 is going to be the strong support. 24.34 is going to be the next strong resistance / target. Very wide gaps, and that's because it did run up very fast in the short time period. But in my opinion, I feel realistically it should be flirting with this pivot point, whether it be today or tomorrow. And so yeah, that's just how I see things. So you do your own due diligence at the end of the day. Let me know your thoughts on these stocks. Do you own any of them? Is there any other stocks that is floating your boat today? And if so, drop the tickers in the description below. One final thing, as I mentioned, pop over to my Patreon, link in the description below and also the comments for buy signals. Just put out 3 new ones, and I'm pretty much trying to do roughly around 2 a day. So definitely pop over there. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.